I adore Thor Ragnarok. I still remember the day I watched it in theaters, thinking just how fresh, unique, and fun the film was. To me, the film just keeps getting better and better on rewatches, to the point where it is among my top 3 MCU films now. So naturally, I was expecting a lot from Love and Thunder, since it is also directed by Taika Waititi. Love and Thunder has been dividing audiences and getting a lot of mixed reviews, but in the end, it all comes down to this. Is it worth watching? Let's find out. Thor is still on a path of self-discovery and is fighting alongside the Guardians of Galaxy, but when a mysterious villain called Gorr the God Butcher comes along and starts killing all the gods, it is now up to Thor to defeat him. In a nutshell, Thor Love and Thunder is fine. It's not even close to being as bad as the reviews are making it out to be, but it's not very good either. Let me first tell you about what I liked here. The visuals were beautiful and colorful. The cinematography was great all around, and I love what they did with the black and white sequences in the Shadow Realm. I also really love the action choreography there, which featured probably the best action scene of the entire film. I also liked what they did with the character of Jane. They gave her a really nice backstory, and Natalie Portman was great in the role. But easily the best part of the movie for me is the villain, Gorr the God Butcher, who's a very well written villain. Christian Bale was incredible in that role. I was very terrified of the villain, and that's kind of good. That's what you need to feel when you look at a villain. The backstory that they gave him was really effective and even emotionally resonant. However, I do think that he was slightly underutilized, and a few more sequences with him could have made him a top tier MCU villain. Although there wasn't anything I straight up hated, there still were a lot of aspects which were strictly hit or miss for me. The humor was definitely a huge issue, as it feels overdone and even unnecessary. There are a lot of repetitive jokes that just fell flat, especially the joke about screaming goats, which was really unfunny after a point. It got on my nerves. The balance between story and humor was fine, but it never really feels as smooth as it was in Thor Ragnarok. The tones often shifted in ways that felt shoehorned in rather than having a cohesive flow. The action, despite the gorgeous visuals, was decent. I wasn't really blown away by any action sequence. As I already mentioned, the fight at the Shadow Realm was probably the best part of the film. And again, it's not a very memorable sequence, or it's not an iconic sequence. It's good, and that's where it stops for me. The biggest issue, however, is simply how everything is executed. The storylines they should have focused more on are just left out, and the ones that aren't really necessary to the plot are stretched out too long. Like the ridiculously pointless scene with Zeus that led nowhere. I have seen a lot of complaints with the way Thor is portrayed in the film and him being reduced to just a comedic presence, which I don't really agree with. I think Chris Hemsworth is perfect as Thor and brings in a lot of charm to the character. Though his character could have benefited from a more serious approach, I didn't find the quirky approach to be distracting. I actually really liked it. Overall, Thor Love and Thunder ends up disappointing because it really lacks the focus and barely even reaches its potential. None of the scenes feel as memorable or iconic as they probably should have felt, and this drags down the narrative by a lot. However, it also doesn't deserve the hate it has been getting, because personally, I found it to be entertaining, emotionally resonant, and a light-hearted change of pace from what we usually expect from Marvel. Just maintain your expectations, and I do think you'll have a fun time. With all of that said, I'm going to give Thor Love and Thunder a 65%. So that was my take on Thor Love and Thunder. It's a mid-tier MCU film, which is not that bad to be honest. Also tell me in the comments if you liked the film or if you hated it. And if you did hate it, please let me know why you hated it. Put all of that down in the comments, and also tell me what is your favorite MCU film. Mine is definitely Captain America the Winter Soldier. I just adore that film. So please tell me down in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning into the video. Stay tuned for more such content. Check out my channel for many other such videos. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you again.